A little longer fade today for old Scary Alvarez. Hopefully, there's a silver lining, like giving the Foundations an extra 4 cents for the use of their song. Hey, every bit helps. Scary's gonna go from June into July into late August, and I'm gonna run a mid-June best case, worst case, most likely case scenario for the Wisconsin Badger football team for this fall. That's right on cue. You were just thinking you wanted it, now you got it. So give old Scary a like and a subscribe now. Really appreciate it. Keeps me inching above those PJ Fleck videos where he's celebrating the biggest win in Minnesota football history since the mid-1960s. That, of course, is the 2019 Outback Bowl. So congrats to PJ. Best case, worst case, most likely case, 2025 Badger football. Let's go. Let's start with best case. Why not? We're many weeks away from that kickoff for the season, and we can still have some fun. The realities haven't set in. We don't know what the limitations are yet for the team. The future's in front of us, and let's have some fun with this one. Now, as I've said before, when I mean best case, I don't mean this is a 15-0 team that's going to win the college football playoff. I mean best case within the realm of possibility. You know, we do the 90% in the middle part. We don't do the 1% chance or 5% chance or a 0.5% chance. We do the unlikely to happen, but maybe. And that's where we are here. So what does the best case scenario look like for the 2025 Badgers? Well, kind of overarchingly, they keep their quarterback healthy, which we've been unable to do the last 2 seasons, Luke Fickell's first 2 seasons. Keep old Billy Edwards Jr. upright, slinging that rock down the field. And not just Billy, but keep the team relatively healthy. Every Big Ten football team has injuries. Wisconsin are going to be no exception. They're going to be guys missing games. Got to keep that offensive line upright, though. You lost probably the best guy coming into the season with a torn ACL. And you got to hope the rest of that luck holds up. And you're going to have dings and you're going to have scratches and sprains, and that's just the way it's going to be. But what I'm talking about here is relatively healthy. Nothing weird. Keep most of those first and second teamers feeling good, upright. Okay, so you got a healthy team. You got Nazir for Korean eligible, which unfortunately is still up for grabs right now because the NCAA is a ridiculous body of toothless fools holding on to the last gasp of their power, which is about to be gone anyway. So, hey, congratulations, guys. Hope you enjoy those lawyer fees. But so the team's intact, and we already talked about the schedule ad nauseum, how horrible the schedule is. But I see a best case scenario, and I'm not going to go game by game. We don't have time. You don't have time. Life's too short. But it's a team that finds a way to beat the teams it should beat. So you're beating your non-cons except for Alabama. You're taking care of business against teams like Maryland and Washington. And you're getting those games that used to be rivalry games that really we kind of sucked at lately. So you got Minnesota on the road. You beat them. Iowa, you beat them. Burt Bielema and his girthy self, you take care of Illinois. And then you find a way to snatch a couple of true upsets. Okay, and I know saying at Indiana doesn't sound like much of an upset, but I'm telling you, we're going to be underdogs almost certainly in that game. At Michigan, at Oregon, Ohio State, Alabama, you find a way to get a couple of those games. You're going to lose 2 or 3 of them. I don't see any scenario in the Wisconsin schedule where this team, before bowl games, goes 10-2 or something like that. That's just not. I don't abide that. Is it mathematically possible? As I alluded to earlier, yes, it is. I'm sure there's a mathematical probability. It isn't going to happen, guys. I just don't see it. But a 9-3 season, a lot would have to go right. Things would have to gel. You got an offensive coordinator who's a home run hitter. You got a defense that doesn't look anything like last year. You got interceptions from Holman again. And you got Billy Edwards Jr. slinging that rock and using his feet to beat teams. And you're finding ways to win. Okay, let's say you sneak one of these big time teams. You beat Ohio State at home, and you find a way to beat Michigan in the Big House. There it is, 9-3, 9-3 in a really good bowl game. That's the best case scenario for Wisconsin this year. Okay, I'm not sure if people are going to think I'm being too harsh or too lenient on this, but again, best case does not imply this is the most likely thing that's going to happen. It implies that if things go perfectly, this is what it could look like. And yeah, I can imagine a 9-3. I can imagine 9-3. Maybe a 10-win season if you sneak that bowl game out. A 10-win season with this schedule. Holy crap. Yeah, they're back on the fickle train, people. They're back on the fickle train. Choo choo, chug a choo, leaving the station. Okay, let's turn to the polar opposite of this. The worst case scenario. Same disclaimer. I'm not saying this is likely. I'm not saying I think this is going to happen. Not there. But within the realm of reasonableness, this is what a really bad frickin' season would look like for Wisconsin. Injury bug bites. Doesn't necessarily have to be the quarterback, but it bites. So you're playing guys that probably shouldn't be getting that much PT at whatever position. Kareem loses his appeal, so you got to step another cornerback into his spot, who maybe shouldn't get that many reps. The coaching fit with Jeff Grimes isn't what you hoped it would be. You see some improvements, perhaps, but really, it's the first year in a new system, and oftentimes that's very difficult, even if it has some trimmings that remind you of how things used to be with the smash mouth power game, with the tight ends being involved. So you got injuries. Your seamless fit you're hoping for with the offensive system is not there. The tackling remains a problem. The transfer portal dudes that you got, there are going to be a few that hit, but more don't hit than hit. That's been a problem for past years. Happens again. You are unable to bring your best in the games against your rivals. So you're dropping games against teams like Iowa and Illinois or Minnesota. You're not pulling any upsets. Or if you do pull an upset, you drop an easy one. So maybe you beat an Indiana or Michigan on the road under this scenario, and then you lay an egg at home against Maryland or Washington. But things go bad, and they go bad quick, and this team goes down hard, and is a 4-8 team. A 4-win Wisconsin Badger team. Unthinkable. Wisconsin hasn't had only 4 wins since 1990, Barry Alvarez's first season. Of course, he had 1 win that year. But 4 wins is the least amount since then. Yes, it's a tough schedule. Yes, a 4-8 with this schedule probably translates to a 6-6, or maybe even a 7-5 under some of the easier schedule seasons we've had, but no one gives a shit. Here we are. It's near disaster. I wouldn't say it's disastrous, but it's near disaster. I think a realistic worst case scenario, you could push me to 3 here, but I just feel like with the non-cons that aren't Alabama, you can find a way to find 2 Big Ten wins, even in a down season. I think that's going to be very possible. So 4 wins, another bowlless season, and endless fire fix speculation. Spoiler alert, kids. 4-win Wisconsin team ain't firing Luke Fickell. So it's going to be a 2026, buddy. You can get on the message boards and pout all you want, but that's not going to happen. So we have best case scenario 9-3 heading into a bowl game. Worst case scenario, we got a 4-8 heading into no bowl game. What is the most likely scenario for this team? I have wrestled with this, and I won't say I've been all over the place, but I've been kind of, 5, 6, 7. I've been kind of edging between these victory totals that are pretty close to each other, rising and falling. By the end of spring, I felt better than I did at the beginning of spring, given what some of the transfers were showing. Again, didn't like the Haywood injury. That's bad, and we're still not sure exactly how that is going to shake out. Brunner probably is my guess. Will step into that left tackle spot, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. But you're going to need guys like Mendel and some of these young kids in the transfers to step up and play some big boy ball. But assuming the season has a normal arc, okay? And by normal arc, I don't mean the normal arc of losing your starting quarterback for large portions or all of 2 consecutive seasons. I mean, maybe he misses a game or 2 with injury, Billy. But you have your quarterback for most of the season. Injuries are typical but not crazy. Your offensive coordinator shows out. The system you're seeing some green shoots through the concrete there. You're seeing that what this offense could become. You're getting more downfield passing with a couple of deep threats. Okay. Yeah, Jaden Ballard's he's stretching the field. It is what it is. And Vinny Anthony will thank him for it. But the team looks pretty good. You're getting a pass rush where you didn't have a pass rush last year. We're not talking about running it national award winners for sacks. We're not going to be talking TJ or JJ Watt kind of performances, but you got guys, Allegro and whoever, you're getting to the quarterback much more. That was one of the least sacky teams in NCAA football last year. The least had the fewest amounts of pressures on quarterbacks, fewest tackles for losses. It was just disastrous. That doesn't happen under the most likely scenario. Okay, this is not a world beater of a defense, but you've made some adjustments and you've gotten bigger, especially on the front 7, and faster on the front 7. Yeah, Chuck Perkins. He'll throw the quarterback down a few times. He'll plug that run for you. And it looks more like a Badger team than we're used to. Okay? Doesn't mean you're not going to lose some games, though. The offense, you got that running back moving, running backs. It's just going to be 3 of them, I think, that are going to get significant playing time. Although Dylan Jones is my pick for the workhorse. And, you have ups and downs, but the Wisconsin feel appears to be back. And you see those moments, and you have those games. Not every game, but you have them. You take care of business of some of your rivals. So let's say you beat Iowa, and you beat Minnesota, but maybe you lose to Illinois. You handle the teams you should handle, and you pick off an upset or 2. Okay, maybe you pick off Michigan to the big house. Maybe you find a way to have a signature win at home against Ryan Day and the Buckeyes. Who let the dogs out? I don't know. Maybe it's beating Oregon. Or maybe you pull a shocker in Tuscaloosa. I don't know, but you win a game, at least one signature win against an elite type team, against a blue blood type team. I think that is realistic for the season. Okay, I think it's realistic. So what does the most likely scenario translate into with this schedule and the way I see it playing out? But I'm going to say 6 wins and a bowl game, so it could be 7 wins. I believe that's the most likely scenario for Wisconsin this year. And there are going to be people who think I'm cheating this team. I'm shading them too much. And there are people who think I am stroking thick. No way this team's winning 6 games with that schedule. I hear all sides. And then there are going to be some of you that think, yeah, that sounds about right. But that's where I am. Could it be more? Could it be a little less? Absolutely. I mean, a 5-win season would not shock me. A 7-win season would not shock me heading into a bowl game. An 8-win season, I'd be a little surprised, I will say. I'd be pleasantly surprised. Okay? Maybe. Who knows? It's possible. But if you had to pin me down, 6 wins and a bowl game, Badger back at bowling again. So that's where I am with my best case, worst case, and most likely. Let's hear what you think. Throw your guesses in the comments. As always, Scary really appreciates your patronage. There are all kinds of podcasts out there, but this is the only Scary Alvarez podcast. So thanks for joining me. and on Wisconsin. Scary is out.